Script are back with their new album, No Sound Without Silence. I met them to talk about The Voice UK, new songs and meeting the Queen of England. But let's start with the new record, an album that Danny O'Donoghue is describing as a prequel to their big selling debut.
They took away the prophet's dream for a prophet on the street.
What I meant by that was that we had a certain headspace where there was no, I guess, an invisible ceiling. Now, where we, on the second album, the third album, we've always had deadlines, or we've had a massive tour coming up, or we've had either The Voice is about to start in a few months, so we better get something done in this amount of time. So I think with the advent of us coming back from television and being, I guess, in everybody's face, for that whole year, we'd just been back being a band again. And we had no time limits. We know an album has to be out at this time. We actually just decided we're turning around, so why not create an album? So I think just for the mindset, it was. I felt probably even more free than we did when we wrote the first album for some strange reason. But I think it was because we came back into the fold again, and it was not so much about what can we do to further the band on television. It was what can we do to further the band with music, which is what we've always been about.
Danny O'Donoghue, songwriter and frontman of stadium-filling, chart-topping band The Script.
Danny is a songwriter, producer.
He's a fresh Irish singer, so we have a thing in common. We are Celts.
Of course, Danny was a judge on The Voice UK for 2 years running. It certainly helped The Script's profile in the UK, but it might have caused some rumblings of discontent in Ireland. But in a world where TV and online exposure is everything, is it just a sign of the way the industry has gone?
I was more for it than Danny was, believe it or not, certainly in the beginning, because I had seen the show in the States. I was there for a bit and I'd seen the show and I come home and it hadn't hit over here yet. And I told the boys about it. I said, there's finally a show that's where bands can now showcase themselves, and this did help put a face to the band. It didn't sell us more records, it didn't sell us less records.
I think after doing it a second time, I think to do it a third time wasn't necessary, and I know Danny missed being just in the band. I know that, I certainly missed just the idea of just that.
He missed me as well.
I missed you as well. I did. But you know what I'm saying? I think to do it again wouldn't have done anything more for us. You know what I mean? If anything, it would injure us because we would have been then tied to it, and it did interfere with some of our touring plans at the time. But at the same time, it also gave us that exposure that I think we did need at that time. That extra exposure that we, like Mark says, people didn't necessarily know who we were. Danny going on it actually put a face to Dan. Well, and you had to give up a big chunk of your anonymity for that.
Give up your face.
Yeah.
Hey,
totally.
listen, forget that. I was giving me Saturday nights. That was more important to me than anything else.
One of the tracks on the new album is called Without These Songs, and it seems to be the Script's love letter to a more innocent pre-digital age.
The internet hasn't changed the way people, I suppose, their love for music or their passion for music. It's not changed how music sales have even gone down. That's not what has done the damage. It's overpricing music has done the damage to music. That's what's done it so.
So the record labels are fault then?
Well, of course they are. Of course they are. Would they completely overpriced themselves initially on a product that shouldn't have been overpriced, and now it's up against a DVD. Everyone knows when they see a movie being made, it was made for X amount of millions, and it's okay then to go in and spend £10 or £12 on that, but they don't really know what goes into a music CD. And there's also the whole side of that you're going to experience that band in a live environment also. So I think there is no comparison. All we have now is the internet, but it's like when we got radio, it's like when we got TV, it's like when we get running water.
All the hurt, all the lies, all the tears that they cry.
That's the new single Superheroes, the video for which was shot in Johannesburg. But another new song called Paint the Town Green is the Script's celebration of being Irish.
The song is about being Irish abroad, and I think it's inherently seeing somebody. Whenever we write a song, we kind of sit down and we go, right, who are the characters in this? What's the plot? What's the theme? What are we doing? So in that particular song, it was for everybody who was away from home on a day that we would be proud to be Irish, say Patrick's Day or something like that. You're really missing home. Let's say the World Cup's on and people, geez, I wish I was there just for the crack, So it was one of those songs that if somebody was in Australia or America, I could imagine me seeing a girl being upset about not being home, but I'm like, you know what we'll do? Come on, we'll go down to the local Irish bar, we'll have the crack, we'll see what we can do, you know. And then he's in a real student way, he tells all his friends, listen, do us a favour, cut out a big giant 48A bus, will you? And let's have a plasticine version of the Molly Malone, and he kind of puts the street with all these things and just waltzes her around in his own cheap way to make her feel like she's at home. And that's kind of what it is, because when we're away, the amount of people that come out and just are like, thank God you are here, I'm living for this day. It's like the one day I have a load of Irish people on one roof, I can be proud.
Got some words on cardboard, got your picture in my hand, saying, if you see this girl, can you tell her where I am? Some try to...
Glenn, 20 million albums sold, UK number ones, Irish number ones, I think 4 number one albums in a row when this one comes out in a few weeks' time.
Fingers crossed. Where did it go
think
wrong?
So. How has success changed these two boys?
Go for it.
Go for it. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready for this.
Let me move the microphone over a little bit closer to him.
I can't do this anymore. Someone get me out of this. No. To be quite honest, they're the same guys that we started off as. I mean, none of us are really, if anything, we just learned, I suppose, how to manage our time a little bit better. Someone asked me today, are you still friends? Yes, we're still friends. We just probably don't get to hang out as friends as much as you would have at the start, because we're so busy when we're working. When we have time off, we just wanted to go home and spend time with our families with the little bit of time we do have off. I think our work ethic is savage. We just put our heads down and we go into work mode. But we have great crack while we're doing it, so we're still mates in that end of it, you know. But no, we haven't changed it. We just got more determined and even more hungry, because with each success that comes along, you realise how quickly it can be taken away from you. As we've come through the years, we've seen other bands that have come out on tour with us and support us, and they're gone, you know. Bands that we supported when we started off are gone, you know, and we've come up above them, you know, and that is a bit of a shocker, you know. That's a big lesson. You realise, I need to be careful here. I have to, you know, sustain this, maintain it, you know, be humble along the way, be nice to people on the way up, because you never know what you're going to meet them on the way down again, and nothing is for certain. So each album for us is like our first, and if anything, I think the only thing that changed with the lads would be that they're probably even hungrier now than when we started, which is quite amazing. I think we're all hungrier than we were, and we're ready to do even harder work.
You've been fighting for it all your life. You've been struggling to make things right. That's how a superhero learns to fly.